Nintendo is always trying to evolve and change the way we play video games. It could be something as simple as adding an analog stick to the N64 controller, or something more complex like the Switch, blurring the line between console and handheld. Experimentation has often paid off big time for Nintendo, like the runaway success of the motion controls with the Wii. But of course their attempts to evolve have also failed, like with the Wii U, or even more notoriously the Virtual Boy. Now Nintendo is at it again with its latest game series, Nintendo Labo, a hybrid of arts and crafts and video games. So where does Labo stand in Nintendo's efforts to evolve? Let's get our hands on Labo and make, play, and discover. Welcome to the world of Nintendo Labo. Wait a sec, what the heck is a Labo anyway? It's a video game, of course, but it's one that tries to sprinkle in some of that Nintendo magic and inventiveness by having you construct cardboard accessories called Toy-Con. These Toy-Con will allow you to interact with an assortment of minigames included. The Nintendo Labo Variety Kit has 5 Toy-Con: the RC car, motorbike, fishing rod, house, and piano. So before you play the minigames that are relevant to each Toy-Con, the first step is building it. Inside the box there are sheets of cardboard with perforated pieces that you can pop out and fold to make the Toy-Con. It would be pretty daunting to put it all together without instruction, so this is where the Make section of the game comes into play. It will guide you step by step on which pieces you need, where to fold, connect, place stickers, or provide any other helpful tips. You can fast forward, rewind, and even zoom and rotate the camera to get an optimal view. Good thing for me, it's idiot-proof. Toy-Con can range from 5 minutes to over an hour to build, because things like the fishing rod, or especially the piano, are far more complex and have moving parts. It was neat to experience the process, at first wondering how these mechanisms would work with plain old cardboard, and then being surprised at just how well it moves. If you're feeling saucy, you can decorate your Toy-Con as you like. I had a ton of fun making all the Toy-Con, but my biggest gripe with Labo is that after you made all the Toy-Con, you have effectively eliminated 1/3 of what you can do with this game. So replayability kinda goes out the window. Once built, each Toy-Con has a game associated with it. That's where the play menu comes in. The way these simple pieces of cardboard interact with the game is that you set your controller into a designated space on the Toy-Con. It either uses vibrations, motion controls, or the infrared camera on the controller to give feedback to the game, and in each case it works really effectively. First game is the RC car, which only takes a few minutes to build, and that's probably how much time you'll actually spend with the RC car game. You take your Joy-Con controllers, attach them to the car, and then use the switch screen to move the car around. It does so by vibrating the left or right controller to move the car in that direction. It works, and the idea of using vibrations to move the car is smart, but it goes so slow, and I grew tired of it very quickly. If you have 2 pairs of controllers, you can make a second car that can do some sumo-style battles. Though I can't say I enjoyed my time playing this, or even building it for that matter. Next Toy-Con up is the fishing rod. This was not only my favorite to build, but also my favorite minigame. You cast your line out to sea and try and catch some fish. There are a lot of varieties of fish out in those deep waters, and trying to land the big one is exciting and tense. If you're not careful, the line can snap and you'll lose out on a whopper. You also have an aquarium to hold all your biggest catches. The game works by placing your Joy-Con in the reel and the other in the base of the rod. When turning the reel, the Joy-Con spins, so the game knows what you're doing. The rod also has a string attached, which uses rubber bands to give some resistance, like a fish on a line. If you're like me and spend a lot of time in Animal Crossing catching fish, then this is the minigame for you. The house was the game that I was most skeptical of. Building it wasn't particularly interesting compared to the others, and the game is sort of like a virtual pet. Again, for me this was not a good sign. But there are 3 blocks that go with this house: a crank, a pump, and a key. You can put these blocks into the window of the house, and each will have a different effect, like filling the room with water or changing it from day to night. You can also use these blocks in tandem that will open up 9 other rooms so that you can play games with your pet, like bowling or a minecart game. So it's not just feeding it and cleaning up poop like in those old Tamagotchis. You can feed it a bunch of stuff and it will change its color, or you can just be a jerk and shake the hell out of the house and bounce them around. It was better than I expected, but still extremely light on content, as I beat every minigame in 20 minutes, though I do think younger kids will get a kick out of this one. In the motorbike game, you race around the tracks to take the gold. The Switch controllers slide into the handles of the Toy-Con using motion controls to steer. There are 3 skill levels and 3 different racing speeds. It controls nice, but is extremely bare bones. There aren't any course hazards or items, just speed boosts. If you already have Mario Kart on the Switch, you'll get the same vibe, but with none of the intricacies. No multiplayer for this one is also kind of a bummer, so I can't imagine people playing this one for very long, especially if you own any other racing game. Finally, we have the piano, which isn't so much of a game since there's no objective. You just jam. But there are a few features. You can change the sound to cats, bend the pitch, insert drum beats, or even record your songs. This is the one game where it veered into the creation theme that Labo is trying to convey. Sure, in games like the motorbike you can make your own custom courses, but the sky's the limit with the piano. You've made, you played, and now it's time to discover. The discover section of the game is strictly about learning. There's a team of texts that tell you how each Toy-Con works and describes what is exactly inside the Switch controllers. It's informative, but also funny, as the conversations you have with the text get silly, and I loved responding back with some mean answers. Hidden in the Discover section is the garage. This allows you to make your own custom toys that will work with Labo. There are a few examples in the game like making the falling man or the guitar, but the game encourages you to figure it out for yourself. I generally suck at these kind of things, but I'm stoked to see what people on the internet may come up with. The whole thing is wrapped up in a clean presentation, with some of the most realistic graphics I've ever seen. That's because half the game is in the real world, of course, but nevertheless, the minigame graphics are okay too. Colorful and vibrant, the typical Nintendo style that suits the situation. The music, though, is awesome, and that reminds me of some WarioWare tunes. Nintendo Labo was clearly made with kids in mind, offering both a video game and a crafting package. But where Nintendo may have failed is putting enough focus on both sides of the equation, as the make is satisfying, but the play leaves a lot to be desired. Nintendo is usually great at balancing a game in a way that it's easy enough for kids or casual players to get into, but at the same time offering depth and challenge for the hardcore fans, like in Donkey Kong or in Super Mario Bros. But unfortunately, Nintendo Labo fails to find this balance. The crafting is a lot of fun. It's the main draw to this game. Building and combining small pieces until it finally comes together feels rewarding. But once you build these cardboard creations, a majority of the game is gone. The minigames are far too shallow to hold most people's attention, and I suspect that even younger kids may get bored with them quickly. So should you get Labo? Well, if you're a parent or just really like crafts, then I'd say go for it, because this game is great for spending quality time with someone, building and doing something a bit more creative than the standard video game. But if you're a seasoned gamer, then I'd say stay away, because the asking price of $70 and the limited content that it provides won't satisfy you. What do you guys think about Labo? Do you think there are more versions to come? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll see you next time, and remember, it's all fun and games. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked that video, why not check out my review of Spyro the Dragon? And if you like It's All Fun and Games, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again.